there aren't a lot of Black women in positions of real power in this business. Like, yes, we have Sylvias. Yes, we have the Ethiopias, but they still are under white-led institution. So it's like in male institutions. Yes. They still answer
to a male.
Yes. And probably a white male.
Right.
So I think it's important that, again, we reclaim that equity and stake in the culture that we so vehemently wield forward.
Yeah.
You can't deny it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot comes from us, and especially Black women. Like, I pay Black women.
Yeah.
I pay women. I will.
Yeah.
Like, I'm biased in that way, and I don't care.
Right.
Because it's been the other way around for so long.
Thanks.
So why can't I build an empire that is representative of the world I want to see and the business that I want to see?
Right.
I prefer working with women talent. I will always book a female DJ. I will always go to bat for my artists, for my female artists, to get more money, because it is a thing. People don't think it's a thing, it's a thing.
Ghetto. Good idea, now we buying merch. That's ghetto. Payment miss. Ooh, the ghetto. Say she quit. Ooh, the ghetto. Late on your rent. Rent is ghetto. New event. Ooh, the ghetto. Invoice in. That ain't ghetto. Money spent. Oh, that's ghetto. Hold on, it's kind of ghetto being a CEO.
Have you been completely isolating yourself in business? Like, you don't have people that you could do this business with. Well, you need coworkers, and that is why we created the Entrepreneurs Coworkers Community. This allows you to be able to develop relationships with other people in your community. So in the Entrepreneurship Coworkers Community, we give you a quiz to find out who you are and what type of CEO you are. And in this quiz, you get to meet other CEOs that may be more creative or traditional or hybrid. We have these CEOs there for you. But even taking it up a notch, we have local chapters in your city, from Atlanta to Dallas to New York to Houston to Chicago. Chapters in your city where we're actually linking up every single month to work together, linking up to go to brunch together, having fun together, doing community service outreach. Like, this is a section of our life where we can really co-work and mingle with other people. It's time for you to get some coworkers, sis. And this community is completely free. Just because you're watching this podcast, all you have to do is stop, pause the podcast, click the link below, take the assessment, get in the community, and I'll see you there. Bye, coworker. Back to the episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Ghetto CEO Podcast, where we talk about how being a CEO is sometimes just super ghetto. Like, I'm talking about just ghetto Richie, okay? But we talk about the raw and unfiltered truth behind being a CEO. And honestly, y'all, everybody don't be trying to be honest about their journey. So I am so excited about the CEOs that come to this couch, okay, and tell us what they really go through behind the scenes of being a CEO to encourage you to keep going. So if you're enjoying these episodes, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know. Like, I know I say that all fast and stuff, but listen, let us know, okay, what you like and what you don't like, so we can continue to make the season better. So, without further ado, I am super excited about this guest that we have on the couch today. She is going to bring us her story. Are you welcome? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Listen, I am excited. I'm cracking up.
You caught me on a good day, girl. It's a good day. It's a good day. It's a good day.
Oh, period.
People are trying it. It's real ghetto right now.
Well, tell us about
It's
it.
real ghetto.
What is ghetto? Dive right in. How has life been? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Okay. How was you feeling yesterday?
I feel great.
Okay.
But people trying it. Just dealing with a lot of personalities. We're getting ready for Grammys, which is next week.
Okay.
So we have a lot of events, activations going on.
Yes.
And everybody has lost their godforsaken mind. I don't know what is going on in it. And I'm just like, why are people moving this way? This is crazy. People handling me crazy.
Yes.
So I'm just like...
Okay, but how are you staying calm through all of this? Because I know, like, on the side of, like, clients and stuff, people just be just doing crazy stuff.
I think I have to remember that why I do what I do. Mm-hmm. And when you're dealing with people in this industry, particularly music industry, there's a lot of ego, people doing things for clout. People are not in this industry for a lot of the right reasons.
Right.
And I have to just remember that I'm in it for the right reasons. And I move with integrity. I move with intentionality. I really value my relationships.
Yeah.
And that's what has sustained me for 15 years.
Period.
And so I'm all good with removing myself.
Oh, heavy.
You can have that.
You can have it. So what you feel like, because like you said, it's crazy in the industry, but what do you feel like has been the craziest thing that you've seen? Like, y'all really out here doing this? Like, what is it?
I literally had an executive, an employee of a client that I've worked with for 8 years, trying to look cute in front of an artist management during a walkthrough and said she doesn't know me. I was like, and it got back to me, obviously. And I was like, girl, what? We on email checks? So I immediately text her. I was like, I heard you.
But what was the purpose?
What was the purpose? That's what I'm saying. Okay. That's literally why I'm just like, you did this for what? So you could look cute in front of the managers? Like, this don't make any sense.
Right.
And yeah, so stuff like that literally has been going on like yesterday. It's just a lot of interesting stuff. But in terms of things I've seen, I mean, it's the music industry. Y'all see what Diddy, y'all see what's happening with Diddy. Y'all see what go on in this damn business.
Right. It's crazy in these streets. Okay, so I know we dive right in, but let them know who you are and what you do.
Yes, I know. Sorry.
No, listen, we like to get to it.
Real time. This is real time stuff going on.
Facts.
So I'm Anastasia Wright.
Hey.
Am I supposed to look at the camera?
Look at me. Go.
Okay. I have owned Imperial Marketing Group for 15 years. 10 of those have been full time.
Okay.
My background is in music primarily. I came from the publicity world.
Okay.
And then when I left RCA Records to focus on my company, the agency turned into more of a full service. So I've been doing brand partnerships, which is public relations strategy, marketing strategy, release planning, partnership strategy. We work with the likes of Janet Jackson to Soho House, Portia. Like, we're on the brand side, we're on the talent side. And now we're in a space where we're really growing, working more with talent that's outside of music. So we're expanding into sports, film, television. We're just, trying to create this little empire.
I'm light. It's light work. I love it. So what was the moment in your career that you feel like you was like, damn, I made it? Like, I'm Anastasia Wright. The fuck?
Okay. Yeah. I think it's twofold. I think the I made it moment is false. And if you're really in this entrepreneurial game,
you always chase them.
You always after the next.
Yeah.
So it's like please celebrate your wins. Yes. I tell people that all the time. But it's quick because you're like, okay, now I did that. Oh, I could do this.
Right.
Like, oh, now we about to do this.
Right.
So there's been really incredible moments. Obviously, I think 5-6 years ago, got the call about joining Janet's team. That was definitely a sobering moment. Like, wow, Janet Jackson. Fire.
Right.
Okay. I mean, I was still like, okay, so what the contract looking like? Like, I'm still like, I'm not, but it's an honor, obviously, to even be considered. And then 5 years being on the team as VP of marketing, like, I just think I still don't know where those years went because it was so much happening. So I think literally that time frame, a lot that happened within the 5 years I was with her team.
Yeah.
Really just was like, wow. This is wild.
Right.
I know, like, but I think just in general, every day getting to decide how I want to live my life, who I want to work with, that is a freedom that comes with a price.
Yeah.
But it's every day is that, damn, I'm doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like every day, is a moment. And honestly, Valerie is here. A young lady who reached out, who's been following the company for a while, and the synergy, like I've been calling in team and help, and that's another ghetto moment of trying to do everything by yourself. But I think just receiving messages like that and people coming into opportunities coming in, it's really always like, wow,
Yes.
You doing this good. Okay, God. I hear you. Let's go.
I'm Anastasia Wright. Yes.
Right. Like, of course I can do this, right?
Of course. I love it. No, literally. No, so even you talked about building a team and trying to figure out how to balance all of these opportunities that are coming at you. It's like you don't want to drop the ball.
Yep.
Right? But your greatest, I think the hardest thing about entrepreneurship is your potential and how you get to your greatness is determined by the great people seeing the great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's like, nigga, come on. We got stuff on. So how did you navigate those waters?
I think you really have to let go. You know, when you build something, nobody really loves it the way you're going to love it and take care of it. It's your baby. Yeah. It literally is.
Literally.
But on the flip side, it's like, just like real kids, you got to send them out into the world someday. They got to go to kindergarten. You got to let them go and let them, you know, and let other people come into their, you know, life. And so I've had to really just, it's trial and error. You know, you lose money. You just really have to just do your best to vet people, but sometimes you know you just have to try people out. Yeah, and it's a journey, and it can be deterring, but it's like, you know, if you really, there's no other way around it. Right, like you got to go through it to get through it.
You got to, and I think that's the thing that a lot of entrepreneurs try to avoid. You try to avoid the going through it, but if you go through it, you can get to it.
There's no shortcuts.
Okay.
No shortcuts.
None whatsoever. If you're over here on YouTube watching the podcast, listen, I need you to do me a favor. If you love me, do me this favor. Pull out your phone right now and go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts or anywhere that you actually listen to podcasts at, right? I need you to subscribe and leave a review. Listen, the way podcasts work is the streets don't know we doing good if it's not on the audio version. The YouTube version don't really count, okay? So go over there, leave us a review, and let us know how much you love the podcast. Now back to the episode. And so you talked about like you got to take losses. Is there things, what do you feel like has been your greatest loss as an entrepreneur?
Besides money.
Listen, 1, 2, 3, 4.
We have lost. We have lost money. We have made money. I think you just get comfortable with, once you really commit to the vision, you lose people. Yeah. And that could be family, that could be friends, all types of relationships. You lose parts of yourself because you got to grow. You can't remain the same person if you're trying to get to the next level. So loss and grief is actually a big part of entrepreneurship that a lot of people don't talk about. No. And they actually...
A grief of yourself. Like you said, you're shedding.
You're shedding. Yes. And mourning versions of yourself. You're like, damn, I'm not this person anymore. Right. And also struggling with trying to become that woman that you need to be at the same time. So it's very hard. And sometimes you don't have the emotional or mental support from people. Right. So you got to dolo it out.
And most people don't understand, you know what I'm saying, the emotional climb and the evolution that you're going through as a woman, right? To become a woman is a whole thing.
That's a whole nother separate, right?
Right. A whole thing in itself. But on top of that, I gotta become a CEO
at the same time.
Don't add me to a relationship on top of that.
Girl, we gonna talk about that. I ain't, girl.
Jesus.
Talk about losing. So that is also very hard to navigate. I ain't gonna hold you, and it's not even like, I hate to be like, what's the usual intimidation, but facts are facts. You know.
So what you feel like has been hard with navigating dating?
I think it's finding somebody who, first of all, getting real with what you want. Because, like, I think a lot of ambitious women sometimes struggle with just standing on it. Like, I want a lot. I want a big life. I want a rich life. Yeah. I want to live well. I want to do all the things. Right. And not that I'm asking a man to come and fund all of that. Yeah. But, like, you got to also want that for yourself, too. So if you're dating me, there's no resentment. Yeah. There's no feeling of competition. That is something I have never felt until I've gotten to certain levels of my career. Like, why is this man competing with me? This is weird. Right. I'm not competing with him because I'm not that type of girl, like I don't lead with this is who I am. Like I don't lead with that at all.
Yeah.
Like I'm just trying to get to know you as a person, and it just the minute they start to snoop around Instagram,
right?
You know?
Girl,
then the questions start coming, and I'll be like, I do marketing. Like literally, that's literally what I'm like. I'm in marketing.
Yes.
And then they start digging and digging and digging, and then it's like, all right. And then once, start really explaining maybe parts of what I do, sometimes the energy shifts immediately. I'll be on dates and energy shifts. Like I can feel the uncomfortableness or
so what are you supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like we were put on this earth. God placed us to be Adam and Eve, right? Like we're supposed to be with the helpmate, but what are you supposed to do in your opinion, right? To find your person if they intimidated.
I don't think we should do anything except just focus on becoming our best selves. I feel like what else can we do?
Yeah.
Like I can't control a man. A man gonna do what he want to do,
right.
regardless. So we're all individuals in that journey too. Like men also need to take accountability for their healing, for their becoming of a man. Like that's a process. Just like I'm becoming a woman.
Yes.
Men also are in the process of becoming men and figuring out how they want to show up in the world. As fathers, as husbands, like they got to figure that shit out. Right. Like that's not on me.
And I think the opposite happens with men. In my opinion, they don't develop their manhood. Well, I'm not gonna say manhood, but they don't develop their healing until the woman helps them heal. Versus we heal on our own
most of the time.
And then you know what I'm saying? Like it's a little bit different.
It's a little bit different, and I think that's what. Maybe that's really what, like, we come into revelations right here. Maybe that's why. Ding. But maybe that's why it's a little bit challenging for myself because I'm literally putting that onus. That's on you, bruh.
Yeah.
Like, I need you to focus on yourself.
Right.
I'm not asking you to come to the table perfect. I'm asking you to come to the table aware of who you are, what you're trying to do.
Facts.
I'm trying to buy into your vision.
Right.
Like, what
but you got to have your vision.
You got to have your vision.
Can't buy into nothing.
Like, what we doing? And I think because I'm just I know who I am.
Yeah.
And I'm very much invested in my vision and my purpose.
Right.
So if he's not invested in himself the same way, that's where we kind of just, like it fizzles out.
And it's hard, like you said, going through, where you are in your career, and it's only gonna get better.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not gonna dumb myself down.
I'm only gonna get bigger.
It's only gonna get better. I'm Anastasia Wright. Okay, listen. You gotta take these sound bites. Period. Now, okay, going back to the work journey, right? So you are navigating. This wasn't were you doing marketing at RCA?
I was doing publicity, so a facet of it.
Okay, so how did you now step into like owning your own agency, now doing all the things for all the girls?
Well, actually, I'm a little bit of a weirdo because I started my company in college.
Okay, me too, girl.
The young spirit. Yeah. But so I kind of did the 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Mm-hmm. So I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from New York. So I was working with a little local artists, like doing whatever I can, Yeah. Graduated. Job market was crazy. It was 2008. It was when the financial market was wilding. All the little greedy people. Right. So it was tough. So I was trying to get, entry level, but I was still like, all right, well, I'm gonna do my mustard over here.
Right.
So got my foot in the door and I started working at the labels and stuff, but I still had my company. So I did that for a very long time until RCA. And it was actually my grandmother. She passed in April. June, I was out. It was almost like revelation, like death changes you. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not happy here. I gotta go. Yeah. And I was like, I've done enough. I feel confident. I didn't really have a plan, but I had faith in my abilities.
Got you.
I knew that I would figure it out because I've spent enough time in the industry and I have really solid relationships and I'm good at what I do.
Right.
At the end of the day. And literally gave my notice and shout out to Monrae Perry. She called me up maybe like she was in digital at RC at the time. Gave me my first job right there. She was like, all right, so you still doing PR? Because I need to bring you on. Like, we could bring you on as a contractor. Yeah. So literally went from employee to client in a matter of like a month or so.
Wow.
And it's been really just word of mouth. From there, like once you do good work, people want to bring you on for this and want to bring you off, blah, 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 and you really just start building from there.
Yeah.
But even that can get complacent because you're not pitching business. And that's where I'm at now in my career. It's like, yes, I've built a great reputation, but there's so much money out there that I can't, I'm trying to access.
Right.
Which is where the team comes into play. Because you reach a ceiling.
Yeah.
At a certain point when it's just you or you're bringing on people as you need them.
Right.
You can only go so far. Like you really need solid people to really help you grow. And so I've been struggling with that for a couple years.
And so finding the right, because I feel like anybody in the publicist industry or even in music industry, period, anytime I talk to them and we're talking about team, they just like, these people, they just be acting up. Yeah, like, so do you feel like it's the industry? Because it's like people see, the music industry and it's like you said, cloud and, oh, yeah, I want to be around this person and that's why I'm doing it. Like, what do you feel like it is?
Girl, specifically with the publicist.
Yeah.
Because I feel that is a rampant, fraudulent job that a lot of people are claiming to have.
Facts.
I have never in my life seen so many publicists taking photos on carpets. I would get fired. My bosses would yoke me up. They would be like, "What you doing on the carpet?
The
You're not supposed to be on
talent.
the red flag." So if you scouting out publicists, you see this person on the pass. Like that is not our job.
Yeah,
our job is it is a thankless job, but you enjoy it because you are responsible for growing somebody's career. You are responsible for their relationships with their respective publics.
So do you think it's a lack of appreciation of what you actually like put it into the world? Because if you are behind the scenes of Janet Jackson, Janet Jackson is a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you want to be the talent too. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do you feel like there is a conflict in publicists becoming the talent? Is it because they ain't getting paid enough? Like, what do you feel like it is?
I think I don't know. You know what? Good question. I feel like maybe, again, they're not in it for the right reasons. I mean, and I also think there's a lack of mentorship in this industry. It's also very ghetto. The music industry is very ghetto, period. Honestly. Yes. But the old guard has failed to really give leadership and guidance to the new guard because they themselves are clout chasing.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. A lot of people were in the right place at the right time and knew the right people and got jobs and just stayed there. They just on the team. Yeah. And so there's a lot of that. So there's like this middle group where it's just like nobody was really teaching anybody. And then the people, the OGs, like I came up under amazing publicists in the game. At Interscope, RCA, who were amazing publicists, had been in the game for 20 some odd years. Right. So taught me, true publicity, skills. Yes. But I think there's also a lack of understanding, like what exactly is a publicist.
And I think that's, not only from the talent side, but the business, like people just don't really. And I understand, right? Like, I don't know what the difference between a chef and a sous chef is. They all cook, right? God damn it. You know what I'm saying? But I think the difference, like, people don't understand the difference between a publicist, a marketer, and, like, a brand, somebody that does branding, right? All of those things are completely different. Completely different.
Can be
interchange. Like, yes, they can work together.
Right.
Different skill sets.
With different skill sets, yes.
So how do you feel like somebody, one, I'm going to ask from the talent or the business side, how do you find the right publicist? Or even if you should even have a publicist.
I was going to start there.
Because damn it, you may not have no story.
Let's start there. Okay. First of all, the function of media has also changed. And we have new media. So we have social media. Yeah. We have streaming media. These are things that were really like coming into their own spaces when I was still at the labels. Like we had digital apartment, but it wasn't really like we were still asking like, okay, is teamvogue.com? Is that you? Is that me? Like, we were still trying to figure out but now it's very, digital is so important. Yeah. Social is so important. Yeah. Streaming is so important. Right. So it's now also changing the fast, like what a publicist's job is in terms of interacting with these different platforms, because they have editorial. They have opportunities that kind of fall under that PR side, but also under. So it's interesting just trying to navigate. But as an artist, it's more so like, do you have something worth publicizing?
Right.
Do people care about you? Who are you?
Right.
Like, do people care?
Yeah.
Like, be honest. Like, we know you care about your music. We know you, hopefully, like, because most artists, I feel like they don't even care about their own art form.
No.
Like, you're not developing yourself. You're not developing your skills.
Right.
You know, again, so I feel like it starts with the talent. Like, if you have something worthy of, that people want to gravitate to, or a story worth being told, you got to be honest with yourself where you're at, because also good publicists cost money.
So, okay, let's talk about that. When you say money, how much you talking? What is a good range for a publicist?
I would be wary if any publicist is charging you less than $3,000 a month. I'll be very like, if that's not, if you know them and that's your friend, and like that's different. They doing it, for you.
Cause I don't see some publicists out there on the other side of the country in the 5 figures.
But also the proof is you need to look at their work.
Yeah.
If you charging 5 figures, I mean, I'm hoping you know how to advance TV. I'm hoping you know how to do print and like how to get covers and things of that nature. Like, there's also levels to everything.
Yes.
So there's publicists that I'm not gonna say they're not. They're mid tier. So, maybe they just do online stuff or social media looks. Because, again, that's the part, like social media, you have whole platforms that are literally just on Instagram. Yeah. Or TikTok. Right. Or YouTube. Right. Where you can, you still got to reach out to help whatever your client. So, but then there's publicists, like I said, the OGs that I came up under. Like, I know how to advance a television. I know how to get on Fallon. Period. I know how to do a daytime. Period. A morning show.
Anastasia Wright, ladies.
Different. It's different. Yes. I can write a press release in maybe an hour. Yes. And know how to spell properly. So,
well, all right, y'all, that's it. That's real.
Those things. Yeah. A media alert, press list, carpet. Those are, now that's a different tier of publicist.
And I think that, like you said, it goes into, because should businesses, like small businesses, have publicists? Because I feel like what I see when I see successful publicists is with talent. It's with someone that's doing. That's a really good point. You know what I'm saying? So what does that range look like?
I think small business, again, it just depends on where you're at. And what do you need to focus on right now to grow? Yeah. Often publicity is not necessarily something you need until, again, there's traction going. Because you put time and money into the areas that you should have to get that traction. So if you're a small business, I feel like number one is like focus on customers. How you get in business?
Make some money. Make some money.
Figure that out. Figure out your business model.
So they should not have publicists. I second that notice. Yeah. I think that you should spend your money on marketing. Like that, and I don't want to be biased, right? But I feel like when you get to the point where your story is ready to be told, people are going to ask you for your story. So if nobody is asking you to tell your story, then therefore why are you paying $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month to tell your story when you could be spending it in marketing to get more customers, so that people are asking? You get what I'm saying?
And I mean, there's different facets. Like if your company is product based, right? Maybe it is, which is kind of a function of a publicist, is maybe do a seed campaign. Okay. So it's to get your product in the hands of notable people. Yes. So little things like that, but that's like a one-off. Right. That shouldn't be a retainer. It's like, okay, I'm ready to do a mailing campaign. Yes. I have enough product that I can give away. I want to get it into the hands of celebrities. I want to get it into the hand of somebody, whoever. Right. You know what I'm saying? Or I want to get it on Oprah's favorite list. So little, very specific, strategic things like that. When you get, first of all, the product needs to be great. So it's like, are we there? Are we at that level? With customers, with people actually on there wanting the product. No, I agree. So, I 100% agree. So, like, I feel like in the late, and you let me know what you feel about this, but do you feel like the media industry is dying in the way that we
have seen it in the past? Like, do you feel like it's evolving, it's dying? Because I see a lot of people talking about like journalists and how it's just a little crazy. So what's your viewpoint on it?
Yep, that's another fake career that a lot of people, journalists who can't even write.
Yeah. All right, y'all. This is
you said listen.
These people can't spell. Okay,
you run on sentences. Listen, I could go look. So media is definitely evolving. I'm not gonna say it's dying, but it's just multifaceted now. Mm-hmm. It's not just TV. It's not just radio. Mm-hmm. It's not just print.
Right.
We have the whole digital landscape, social and online. It's literally, which I love. I feel like it's great. It gives a chance for other creators who may not have had a format that fit print TV or radio. So, and also gives more opportunity for people's stories to be told.
Right.
So little less gatekeeping. But yes, it is a little bit wild, wild west because it's free for all.
Yeah, because I feel like it's changing. Like it's changing. Like I don't know if it's the structure anymore.
And I think at the end of the day, it's still study the ones that have done it that have been great in it. No matter what it is. Study the greats.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you trying to be whatever it is, like there's great interviewers, there's great journalists, and there's different types of journalists. What type of journalist are you? If you're a music journalist, study the great music journalists. Yeah. Like what were there, like even music journalism to me is so boring. I'm bored with media most of the time because the journalists are not creative.
Yeah.
They're not going on tour with the artists anymore like they used to do in the 60s and the 70s. It's where we got those great photos. They were right there.
Right.
On the tour bus, doing all the drugs. Right there with the artist, baby. In the mix.
Yes.
So, and it's so, it's almost like disjointed in a way. It's just weird.
It's like we need to get back to it.
We need to get back to the basics and the art of what it is that you're covering.
Yes.
But also on the flip side, media is also losing its credibility because they're no longer breaking stories. They're just covering. So talent, especially musicians, it's now my job to get great and then you're gonna cover me versus the journalists really being at that level that they were. Basically, some journalists were, so coveted, they were basically almost like A&Rs.
Yeah.
Like if you got into that column, you would be like, oh my God, like
I made it. But I don't feel like there's no
Mike's the source.
What?
Like don't let you
even when you got on like the freshman cover, like
it was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And now it's just like clout driven.
Yeah.
And money driven. Payola. And then it starts to, so media kind of killed itself because they stopped being of quality and integrity. So if you don't maintain that level of exclusivity, you giving baby artists covers that they didn't earn, then your publication no longer matters.
Right.
Because who is this? Like, like, why are they on the cover?
Yeah.
Like, it's just weird because they didn't earn that versus a Beyonce who took 10 years for her to get that cover. Right. But you giving somebody 2 years?
Right.
And they on the same cover?
Right.
As like another artist?
Yeah.
Like, it gets a little janky.
And I feel like it takes, like you said, it takes the fun out of it, right? Everything is like gossip or it's like driven by negativity. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I just don't understand, like, how do we get back to it, or this is just the new face of what we're doing?
I think that's why platforms like yours are so important because the truth, baby. Thank you, Kat. I am Team Kat. He started off this year. Yes.
Popping. Okay.
We are in the era of truth.
Okay.
Yes, we are, Mr. Williams. And so I feel like that will always cut through. Eventually. People want real. People want authenticity. People want to feel. I feel like it'll always find its way. So I feel like, there's the gossip. But even like, for instance, it only lasts so long. Platforms like Shade Room. Yeah. We're not TSR Studios. Are trying to get away from that and more so position themselves into a TMZ. Which they can. Yeah. And even though TMZ is gossipy, it's still it's news. And they break stories. Yeah. They really do. Because Harvey got that lock. got them connections and calls. He got everybody on payroll.
Yes,
So,
but that it goes back to relationships, right?
Right.
Like I think it says something when everybody hates your outlet. You know
it
what
could
I
be
mean?
good or bad.
It could be right. If everybody like, goddamn, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like even though Wendy Williams, right? Even though everybody was like Wendy is da da da, they still was going on the show
Because
they still was on the radio
Wendy's
station.
Wendy's a very specific case.
Yeah, she's like that's a
very specific case
Yeah.
because Wendy been about the truth.
Yeah.
Before the truth was okay to tell.
Mm.
And the blacklist thing does happen
Yeah.
in different ways.
Yeah.
You know, she got kicked off WBLS because she was trying to air out things that are coming out now. So, you know, and that was back in the 90s.
Yeah.
So it's like she's always been not afraid to just say whatever she want to say.
Right.
Which, you know, depending how you look at it, benefited her or did not.
Right.
You know? So she's a little interesting, but I love that she will stand on who she is. She's like, I'm going to say what I want to say.
Right.
I'm going to speak the truth.
Right.
And she got her own show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, out of all radio hosts, I think coming out of New York, like Angie and them and Flex, like, you know, out of all the shows, like she's the only one that ended up with a major syndicated daytime, show.
Right.
So, I mean, it kind of
Whichever way you want to look at it.
however you want to look at it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
But
so.
I think it's also, you know, like you said, it's a thing because it makes people afraid to tell the truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and there's like, victim blaming
Yep.
and all of that kind of stuff, right? But then you see, you like, it's 20 years later, why they coming out now? You know what I'm saying? But was it safe?
It wasn't safe.
to tell.
It really wasn't safe.
Yeah.
Like, legit. Like, your career would be boop.
Yeah.
You know, because the powers that be, I mean, I think in the last decade, we've been watching industries be dismantled.
Exactly.
And honestly, maybe it needs to be. We need to get back, like you said, we need to get back to the what really matters in all of this. And I feel like the gatekeepers that were being predatory are now time to get them out the way.
Yeah.
So the new generation can bring back that integrity, can bring back the art form in our way without all that extra stuff that they were trying to be on in the past.
How do you feel like it's going to evolve? Like, what industries do you feel like you've seen be dismantled, and how have you seen them evolve? Or are they at a standstill?
I don't think they're at a standstill. I think we are the cultivators of change right now. I think, and those that feel the call to action are doing it. Like, it's literally for the taking because, like I said, the old guard is falling down.
Yeah.
You know, because...
And I really feel like they don't, but the problem for me is they're still in control. You don't think so? Because I don't feel like they understand what's going on in this new age.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why I feel their blind spot is. They think that they're still in control.
Yeah.
But, not to keep bringing Mr. Combs up,
Right.
but for instance, time always will tell. Like, it's going to come out.
Yeah.
And things that are happening right now, Diageo, revolt, the lawsuit, it's going to happen, baby.
Yeah.
So it's just like, either you help the new generation and wield your power and your status to bring forth something new and creative, because that is real legacy.
Yeah.
A lot of the old, they don't understand what real legacy is. Real legacy is how many people can say they came up under you.
Right. Ooh.
Not you holding on to your desk till you die. Like,
Right.
girl,
Right.
go on and get a life. Like,
Right.
let this go after a while. So it's, and a lot of them is you're still only as good as what you've done recently.
Ooh, that's good.
And a
'Cause
lot
I
of
don't
them,
care nothing about what you did in the 90s.
I mean, we do, but we don't.
No.
We're appreciative because you bumped them playlists, but
Right.
thank you for that. But
Yes.
what
You
you doing now?
Yes.
Still holding on to their dick. So
Right.
and blocking people who have passion and talent
Yeah.
who really want to do this.
Yeah.
So I think, but we're gonna knock down the doors.
Right.
Because what we control is culture.
That's good.
Nobody has control over culture except the people.
Yeah.
So if we are changing culture, we are actually in control. And that is what this generation needs to understand, is we're actually in control. Don't worry about the powers that be, because they're not in control of that anymore. That time for them has passed.
Right. And you got to control the culture. You control the culture, so you got to keep going. So what do you see? What's your prediction? First of all, because like we talked about the case, right? Like it's the whole thing going on. Do you feel like that's going to affect the businesses that come from that lineage?
What you mean?
Like, do you feel like Revolt is going to be able to withstand all of that?
Yes, I feel Revolt would be fine, but it's interesting because there are some reports of Ciroc having trouble.
Okay.
With sponsorship stuff. Like, people are pulling out. They don't want to be even though they publicly separated themselves from him.
Yeah.
But I mean, Titty is Ciroc. Like, we all know
that. Facts.
So I think there's gonna be some kickback, but it's up to the brands to now rebrand.
Yeah.
And move forward. And again,
and tap into that new generation.
It's
time to move on.
I mean, if I was a role, I would get Cassie a show.
When I say Cat Williams has entered the room.
Cassandra, baby. We team Cassandra. Right. Team Cassandra, baby. What's up? It's you and me. Yeah. It's me and you.
What's up? What we doing? Okay.
I feel like that's really, you got to get ahead of it and you have to be bold. Like you said, a lot of people are moving out of scarcity.
Yeah.
Fearful. And that's not going to lead down any road to longevity or success.
Yeah.
You have to take a step and get behind something and stand on it.
Right.
And I think that's really where we're at, is like, what's going to make people go, oh, like, you have to think about that and not be so safe with it all the time.
And I think that sometimes that is, we are looking to the older generation. We're looking at what, because they always say, well, copy the right cat, right? Like, find somebody that has already did it, right? But then you, on the other side, you like, but I feel like this should be innovative. I feel like this should be new. I feel like this should be different. And you trying to find a mixture of the two.
Right. I think it is a mixture of the two, because there are tactics, like, for instance, with PR. There's tactics that are tried and true. Yeah. Like relationships and also just principles of business, tried and true. Your relationships are what withstand you. Yeah. You guard those with your life, like with your word. And you also need to cut them off just as fast as well if they're not relationships that you need to be having. Yeah. So I feel like there's just principles of business, but also depending on your industry, study the greats, but also integrate the new resources or whatever modes of whatever we have, communication, integrate it, but use some of those tried and true methods in the new ways.
No, absolutely. So going back to the music industry, because that's where you're primarily at, right? So because I feel like, we're seeing the same thing in that industry, right? Like, it's just changing. It's evolving. It is. And it's not like, where's the artist development anymore? Where's the songs?
It's gone.
It is different. So how would you, if you could in a perfect world, penetrate the industry and leave your stamp, what would you do today?
Well, it's what I'm currently doing. I just think representation is so important. I can't tell you, and I think this has kept me going throughout the years, that I felt like I don't want to do this no more. Yes. It's going to give me a 9-5. Go back in house. There aren't a lot of Black women in positions of real power in this business. Like, yes, we have Sylvias. Yes, we have the Ethiopias, but they still are under white-led institution. So it's like in male institutions. Yes. They still answer
to a male.
Yes. And probably a white male.
Right.
So I think it's important that, again, we reclaim that equity and stake in the culture that we so vehemently wield forward. Yeah. You can't deny it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot comes from us, and especially Black women. Right. We don't get the credit. We are the muses for so many songs.
We birth.
Right. And like, so I think it's literally my goal with Imperial is to really create the feeling of the places that I've been in my career. Like, when I was interning at Def Jam in 2009, that incredible feeling of walking into that office, that being around incredible people and executives, but doing it in my way, and also standing on what I stand for. Like, I pay Black women. Yeah. I pay women. I will. Yeah. Like, I'm biased in that way, and I don't care. Right. Because it's been the other way around for so long. Thanks. So why can't I build an empire that is representative of the world I want to see and the business that I want to see.
Right.
I prefer working with women talent. I will always book a female DJ. I will always go to bat for my artists, for my female artists, to get more money, because it is a thing. People don't think it's a thing, it's a thing.
Right.
Like,
I mean, and we heard Taraji speak about it. And, you know, and luckily it wasn't like a bad thing that she came out and talked. No. You know, people supported her and around her. Yeah.
It's hurtful. I think, and I felt her so wholeheartedly, because I've been in that same position. Because you work so hard.
Yeah.
And
I think that's why Black women championed around her, because we've all been there at some point in time.
Been there. Yeah. Where you feel overlooked, underpaid.
Yeah.
Like, why am I not getting the recognition, even though I'm not doing it for it, but I deserve it?
Yeah.
Like, don't take that away from me.
Right.
And why do I have to fight for the bare minimum? That's standard for other people who don't look like me in the same industry.
Facts.
So there's just a lot of that, and I'm willing to be a champion, advocate. I'm not afraid to speak up, because I don't answer nobody but God. And my mama. Shout out to Melissa.
Come on, Melissa.
Melissa, you don't answer nobody?
That's true. Listen, baby, we could go all day, but before we go, what would you say to the publicist that's watching this, or the person that's like, you know what, she's inspired me, I want to do this? Like, what would you say to them to help them keep going?
I would say a form of, if you haven't started, really get clear on why you want to start. Because it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
And it might take you out.
Right.
It's hard. So get clear on the purpose behind what it is, because the path may change, the vehicle may change, but your purpose should stay the same.
Yeah.
Like, I can close IMG's doors, but I can go do that somewhere else.
Right.
So it's like, you really have to get clear, because you'll get caught up in the same things that we just spoke about, doing things for clout and validation and you'll get caught chasing that and lose sight. And those are not sustainable motivations. That's not sustainable energy. You don't move out of desperation. You don't move. You can't. It's not sustainable.
Right.
So you really have to get clear on the why.
Yes.
What is the why?
Yes.
And literally put it up, write it down, put it on the wall. Because
you got to keep referring back to that.
You got to keep refreshing.
Yes. Yes.
That
I love
why,
that.
because you're going to ask yourself why.
Why am I doing this? And I even know, like, when anytime I come in the presence of someone that's making a lot of money, right? And I'm not talking about millions of dollars. I'm talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. They get to the point where it's no more about the money. It's about my impact that I want to leave here. And so, just like you said, understanding your impact.
Understanding your impact, and finances follow the right motivation.
Yeah.
So you also, especially when you're starting, it's so funny. Like, not even when you're starting, because I think it's a misconception that even when you've made it, it's now a greater weight, because you got to stay there.
Yeah.
You have to sustain the success.
Right.
And then also figure out how to grow. Unless you just want to stay where you're at, which is fine.
Right.
Because it's hard to get to that level.
But you got to grow.
You have to grow. So it's really like, it can't always be about the money, even from the beginning. Because again, those relationships and the position, you got to position yourself for success. And sometimes that's not a financial positioning. That's a relationship.
Yes.
That's an opportunity.
Yes.
That's a visibility moment.
Yeah.
It's something else that you have to have the foresight to understand how you're putting plays in place for yourself.
I love that.
To be empowered, to be powerful.
Period. You gotta position yourself, y'all. Okay, listen, y'all have tuned into another episode of the Ghetto CEO podcast. So thank y'all so much. If y'all have just loved this episode, because we done went all over. Okay, if you have found something helpful in this episode, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so we can know that you are tapped in. And I'll see you guys on another episode. Bye, y'all. New event. Ooh, the ghetto. Invoice in. That ain't ghetto. Money